Emc², Tao, is the product Santa Fe uses to electronically create, receive, and send messages instantly anywhere on the Santa Fe system. If you've ever worked around an office, you're already familiar with email's basic ideas. Email has an in basket. It's the place where mail arrives. There's an out basket where outgoing mail is placed, and bulletin boards where people place or read public messages. In this program, we'll review email's basic features and introduce you to the speed, efficiency, and convenience email offers. Welcome to email. In order to access the Emc² Tao electronic mail system, you must log or sign on. First type email or Emc² and press enter. You are now at the host screen and ready to enter your email ID. Type in your ID. Now press the Tab key to move the cursor to the password entry line. Type in your password and press enter. Passwords are limited to 16 characters, alpha or numeric. For security reasons, your password will not be displayed as you type it in. Normally, first-time users will have the same password as their mail ID. You may change your password by using the PF5 or F5 key. Simply follow the prompts to change your password. Keep your password private. After you've typed in your password, press enter. When logging on, it's a good idea to make sure the caps lock key is not on. QuickMail is used to create and send letters. To access QuickMail, begin with the Email Overview screen. Type Q for QuickMail and press enter. The QuickMail screen will appear. You will notice a cursor at the top of the screen next to the word To. This is where you type the email ID of the person who will receive your letter. But what do you do if you don't know a person's email ID? There's a menu at the bottom of the screen. The numbers 1 through 9 refer to the function keys on the top row of your keyboard. For instance, 6 refers to the PF6 key, or on some keyboards, the F6 key. Press F6 for a list of email IDs. A second menu will appear. Option A, Emc² directory, will take you to a directory that contains all email IDs. Option D, public mailing lists, and Option E, private mailing lists, will take you to lists that contain the email IDs of various groups of people. For this demonstration, we'll choose A and press enter. Information is presented in 3 columns. On the left, the email ID, in the center, the department, and on the right, the person's name or title. The directory can either list people alphabetically according to their email ID or by department. Let's say you'd like to send your letter to J. Jones. You could use the F8 or page down key and keep pressing it until you come to Jones. The only problem is you would have to press the F8 key over 400 times to get to the Joneses. A quicker way to find J. Jones's email ID is to go to the top of the screen where it says Search Order. Type the first 3 letters of Jones and J for the first name. By the way, many email IDs begin with the first 3 letters of the last name, then the first initial, and finally the middle initial. B.A. Smith's email ID is probably SMIBA. This isn't always true, but it's a good rule of thumb. After you've typed JONJ, press Enter. The screen will change and the cursor will come to rest on JONJ or, alphabetically, the closest email ID to it. If you look on the right side of the screen, you will notice there's a problem. There are several people whose last name is Jones and first initial is J. How do you find the correct J. Jones? First of all, you probably know J. Jones's department. Let's say he or she works in marketing and sales. Knowing that, you can look down the center column. Unfortunately, there are 2 J. Joneses who work in marketing and sales. What now? In the upper left corner of the screen, you'll notice a menu. One of the menu options is Q for Query. Using the Tab key, position the cursor to the left of the email ID you would like to know more about. Type Q, then press Enter. At this point, you will see a screen that lists information about J. Jones. Information like her given name, phone number, and address. There should be enough information there to allow you to determine if this is the J. Jones you would like to write to. Let's say this is the J. Jones you would like to write to. Press F3 to return to the email directory. Looking at the upper left corner of the screen again, you'll notice there is another menu selection, S for Select, to address the primary recipient, or C, to send a carbon copy to someone. Using the Tab key, move the cursor to the proper location and type S, then press Enter. You can send your letter to several people at the same time simply by placing an S next to their email ID and pressing Enter. Now press F3 to return to the QuickMail screen. Notice that the email ID you selected appears next to the To field in the envelope. You can send a copy to someone by typing a C before their email ID. Press the Tab key and the cursor will move to Subject. Type a brief phrase about the subject of your letter, something like email training. The subject of this letter will appear in J. Jones's in-basket and will let her know at a glance what you are writing about. Press the Tab key again and you are ready to type your letter. Now that you're finished, look at the bottom of the screen. Menu choice 4 is Mail. Press F4 or PF4 and your letter will be mailed. If the person you are sending this letter to has an auto-reply text message set up in their personal option configuration, a short message will appear confirming the fact that your message was received. In-basket, just like the in-basket on a desk, is where you receive mail. To get into your in-basket, begin at the Email Overview screen. Type I for in-basket, then press Enter. The in-basket screen will appear and it will list all of the letters in your in-basket. At the top of the screen there are options that list all the things you can do with letters in your in-basket. For instance, you can read a document by typing an R next to it and pressing Enter. To return to your in-basket, press F3 or PF3. Q for Query will give you information about the letter, such as the time of day it was sent. Place a D next to those letters you would like to remove from your in-basket. By the way, when you delete a letter, it goes into a file called Trash, where it is held a few days, just in case you need it again. F, or File, will allow you to place a letter in your personal file folder. A, or Answer, is another email feature. When you type A next to an in-basket letter and press Enter, your reply letter is automatically addressed to the sender. Type your response, then to mail the letter, press F4 or PF4. Edit, or E, allows you to add or delete material from a letter. K represents Forward, which is used to forward a letter to another email user or back to the sender of the letter. This is a good choice when responding to a letter you have just read. It allows you to send a response attached to the sender's letter. P, or Print, will send a letter to your printer. O, or Output Prompt, will send a letter to someone else's printer. U, or Use Form, is used to fill out electronic fill-in-the-blank forms you may receive. The Outbasket contains the mail you have sent other people. To access your Outbasket, type O at the Email Overview screen and press Enter. Looking at the top of the screen, you'll note that the Outbasket has the same set of options as the In-basket. If you type an R next to a letter and press Enter, your outgoing letter will be displayed. Every letter you write is automatically placed in an email envelope and stamped with your ID and the time of day. Press F3 or PF3 to return to the Outbasket. There are two special symbols that appear next to letters in your Outbasket and In-basket. The star symbol indicates that your letter has not been seen. In other words, the person you've sent the letter to doesn't know you've sent a letter. The plus symbol indicates that the letter has been seen but hasn't been read. The letter will automatically disappear from the out basket when it has been read. However, the letter will remain in your in basket, but the symbol will disappear. Email bulletin boards are places where public messages can be placed and read, like the bulletin boards at your workplace. To look at a bulletin board, type B from the Email Overview screen and press Enter. While the bulletin board screen closely resembles the in-basket and out-basket screens, it works somewhat differently. Type Q and press Enter. The email ID of the bulletin board sponsor and information about who is permitted to use the bulletin board is displayed. Push F3 or PF3 to return to the bulletin board. L for Letters will list all of the documents that are contained in a bulletin board. To read a document, type an R next to it, just as you did with your in-basket. To return to the list of documents, press F3 or PF3. Press F3 or PF3 again to return to the bulletin board. By choosing M for Track, you'll receive a copy of every new letter sent to a particular bulletin board. S or Subsearch will allow you to search for and retrieve a document. The word you search for must be in the subject field of a letter. Personal configuration is a collection of capabilities and preferences that are unique to you. To access personal configuration, type P from the Email Overview screen and press Enter. We'll briefly review the most important items on the Configuration Selections menu. To choose an item, type an S for Select next to it. The password selection will display your email ID and will permit you to change your password. Forward Incoming Mail allows you to forward your mail to another email user and keep a copy in your in-basket. This is a very useful feature if you are away from the office or on vacation. Auto Reply Message is the short confirmation message people receive after they send you a letter. Usually it is something like, "Message received. Thank you." Telephone Numbers lists phone numbers where you can be reached. Don't forget to include area codes and company prefixes. Addresses lists your work address. Remember to include your zip code. Common Name is your given name, initials, and surname. Update Printer Parameters is used to let email know which printer you will use. Jump commands allow you to go directly to any function at any time. All options in the Overview menu can be used as jump commands when preceded by a period. Jump commands must be entered in the jump field, which is located in the bottom right corner of the screen. Press the Home key and then Back tab. Back tab is usually activated by holding down the Shift key while pressing the Tab key. The cursor is now resting in the jump field. To go to your in-basket, press period followed by the letter I, then press Enter. At this time, you could perform any of the options listed in the menu. If you wish to go to the directory, type in a period and the letter D, then press the Enter key. You may wish to go to your personal options to change where your letters will print. Type in a period, the letter P, then press the Enter key. Jump commands allow you to go instantly from one screen to the next. Action commands are another type of jump command that allows you to process letters you have read. These action commands will only work when you are reading correspondence. And rather than typing a period followed by a letter, type a letter followed by a space. For instance, after you're in the jump field, type a K followed by a space and press Enter. The forward prompts will appear and you can forward your letter. Other commands like P space for printing and F space for filing will also work. Emc² Tao, Santa Fe's electronic mail product, is an ideal communication tool. With its practical features and easy-to-use format, you will be more productive and efficient. Many times, people who cannot be reached by phone respond promptly to email letters. As you use email, keep in mind that the location of certain keys can vary depending on whether you are using email on a PC or a Santa Fe computer terminal. To find out about keyboard functions and for information about email, refer to the Beginner's Guide to Email. Contact your administrative assistant for the name of the email instructor in your area to schedule personal instruction.